In the old story of Pandora's box, the box was filled with trouble. And once the problems got out of the box, there was no way to get them back in. It's too bad Pandora's box didn't have a lockout or tagout device. Just as with Pandora's box, the best way to avoid trouble is not to let it start. Imagine the problems you can have when someone unexpectedly starts up a piece of equipment that's partially dismantled for service. A simple system has been devised to prevent these unnecessary accidents. It's called lockout, tagout. If equipment is going to be serviced, and someone could get hurt if it started up, personnel who are authorized to provide the service or repair put locks or tags on the starting mechanisms or energy isolation devices. Lockouts and tagouts are also used where the release of stored energy in a piece of equipment could hurt employees. If it's possible to lock out equipment during service or repair, it should be locked out so there is no possibility of starting it. Tagging out can be used instead only if it can be demonstrated that a tag system will fully protect employees. If a tagout device is used on a piece of equipment capable of being locked out, the tagout device must be attached at the same location on the energy isolation device where the lockout would have been attached. Additional safety measures would also be used. You need to know about lockout-tagout procedures if your job requires you to operate or use equipment which is being serviced or maintained. You're also affected if you work around the equipment being serviced. Only authorized personnel can lock out or tag out a piece of equipment or machinery, and they are the only people who can remove a lock or tag. The locks or tags are placed on the energy isolating device of the equipment to prevent it from being operated. The energy isolation device is usually the power disconnect that allows the equipment to operate. In addition to things like disconnects, the isolating device could be a line valve, blank flange, block, slip blind, or a similar device used to isolate energy. If equipment is tagged out, it may not be operated until the tag has been removed by the authorized person. Tagout devices warn that hazards could be created if the machine or equipment is energized. They carry warnings such as do not start, do not open, do not energize, and do not operate. And they include the name of the person who placed the tagout device on the equipment. Here's a procedure you should use for lockout and tagout situations. Notify everyone affected that the equipment must be shut down and locked out to perform service. If you're the authorized employee, make sure you know the type and magnitude of energy the equipment uses. Know what the hazards are and how to control them. Shut the equipment down by the normal stopping procedure, making sure that no hazards will be created by the shutdown. Deactivate the energy isolation device or devices so the machinery cannot be started or operated, and apply the lockout-tagout devices. If there is stored energy in springs, rotating flywheels, hydraulic systems, capacitors, air, gas, water, or steam systems, you need to dissipate the energy or restrain it. After making sure no one is in a position where they can be hurt, check that the equipment is de-energized. Try to start it. Press the operating button or switch. The lockout should prevent the equipment from operating. Remember to return the controls to the off position after testing. The equipment is now locked out. Here's what you should do when restoring equipment to service. 1. Check the equipment and the area around it to be sure that no tools are where they don't belong. Make sure other unnecessary items are removed. Be sure everything is ready to go. 2. Check the work area to be sure all employees are safely positioned out of harm's way. 3. Make sure any controls are in neutral. 4. Remove the lockout or tagout device if you are authorized to do that, and restart the equipment. Then notify all affected employees that servicing is complete and the equipment is ready for use. By following the simple procedure of locking or tagging out during service, You can keep a lock on Pandora's box and save yourself a world of problems, and who needs more of those? This is Claude Akins reminding you that safety is your job too.
The importance of Dashiell-Dacon lockout-tagout procedure cannot be stressed enough. The main rule is that all equipment shall be locked out or tagged out to protect against accidental or inadvertent operation when such operation could cause injury to personnel. Do not attempt to operate any switch or other energy-isolating device where it is locked or tagged out. The procedure established must be rigidly followed and involves making a survey of the area to identify all isolating devices of the equipment that is to be worked on. Be aware that there may be multiple energy sources for the same piece of equipment. A minimum of 2 Dashiell-Dacon employees are to verify that the system is de-energized prior to installing locks, tags, and grounds. The sequence for locking and tagging equipment is as follows. Notify all affected employees that a lockout-tagout system is going to be used. The authorized employee must know the magnitude and location of all energy devices for the equipment to be locked and tagged out prior to beginning the procedure. If the machine or equipment is operating, it must be shut down using normal disconnecting procedures. Lock out and tag out the energy isolating devices with assigned individual locks and tags. After ensuring that no personnel are exposed, and as a check on having disconnected the energy sources, operate the push button or other normal operating controls to make certain the equipment will not operate. Return operating controls to neutral or off position after the test. Before the equipment is returned to normal operation, check the area around the equipment to ensure no one is exposed and that all tools and ground leads have been removed. After this check, the authorized person can then remove all lockout and tagout devices. All Dashiell-Dacon employees will use the same type of tags. Prior to locking or tagging, a lockout-tagout form must be completely filled out and approved and signed by all parties involved. Safety locks are to have only 2 keys. One key will be in the home office, the other key is assigned to the lock and given to the authorized person. Do not remove another person's locks or tags.